Yeah, that was fucking sick.
Was
Another
so
week, another episode. This is the Informed Moron, and we got on the same morons as always. We got Dylan Ito, Nick Chicoine. How you guys living?
Very good. Very good.
Loving it.
Kicking
Living the life.
Nick wearing the Warriors gear. I absolutely love it. Didn't get the win tonight, but it was a good game.
It's okay, we'll go for a gentleman's sweep.
We're going for a gentleman's sweep. We're going to get it done. But let's get to our super special guest here today. We got a handsome young man right here in the bottom right-hand corner. And he's going to teach us a little bit about real estate today. Paul is younger than us, but he's a freaking beast when it comes to his mind state, and some of the investments that he's made in his life to help his passive income and help him to just get by and fucking thrive in this crazy world that we have nowadays. So what we're gonna do today is just learn from him, see if he could teach us some valuable lessons and maybe teach us how he did it. So Kyle, how are you doing today, man?
What's up, guys? Doing good. It's a Sunday. I had a little too many drinks last night, but I was doing some celebratory drinks for. We got our first Airbnb guest that's coming in, and we just listed it Friday, so pretty pumped about that.
Oh yeah,
brother!
Congrats.
Yeah. So we're having some drinks last night. Having some fun. For sure.
Yeah. Rightfully so. Congrats.
Awesome. Well, I know Dylan kind of want to start it off the questions on how you got started in real estate, how you got started with Airbnb, and basically how you make the whole process profitable. So Dylan, let's start it off with you, bud. Let's hear those questions you got.
Well, yeah, man. I remember talking to your brother, and he was telling me when you bought your houses over by Tahoe, and I was like, "Whoa, what the hell?" And he's like, "Yeah, he has a house over in Hollister too. He rents out one, and that pretty much pays for the one he's living in." And I was like, "Holy shit, man! This guy's a fucking guru. Like, I always knew you were a guru, but I didn't know that kind of guru also." And so I just want to know, like, did you have that planned out? Like, when did you start fucking thinking about that kind of stuff? Because you're the reason I started thinking about it.
Yeah. Okay. I'd say, man, once I started working with my daytime job with PG&E, there's a lot of guys that I work with that are a little older, and they got it all dialed in. They make good money, and they kind of showed me the paths. And one of my buddies actually told me to read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I was like, okay, I don't read. First of all, I'm not gonna read. So I put that thing and played it on Audible, listened to it, and then one book became 2 books, became 3 books, and kind of got dialed in with creating passive income to take over your day job, and then you don't have to work a 9 to 5 or whatever you work. And so after reading those, I was like, okay, I think the best move to do would be to house hack, they call it, right? So you buy a home, and basically it has multiple rooms in it, or it could be another unit in the back or something, and you could rent that unit out to cover your mortgage, and while you're living in the other unit. And so that's where I started with my first house here in Hollister.
And what age, like when you started Rich Dad Poor Dad, like what age were you when you started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and like what age was it when you first bought your first home?
Okay, I was I want to say I was about 22 years. No, actually 21. 21 when I first read and started looking into it more, and then I bought this house that I'm living in right now 2 years ago in 2020.
Wow. So what age were you when you bought that house?
Let's see, I'm about to be 22 years old.
Nice,
I think,
man.
22 or 21, somewhere right around there. Yeah.
So you basically read that book, just got inspired, and just got right to work, started saving up, and dropped it on a house, huh?
Honestly, yeah, man. Like, I don't want to be working my whole life. I'd rather go travel and, view the world, see different cultures. I think that'd be really cool to do instead of working days on end just to make, a living.
Right.
Who was who was that person or family that you rented it out to? Like after you bought it and you started living in it, like how did you vet the person? Like what kind of person or people were you looking for to rent out to?
Oh, okay. Let's see. So right now I got a guy in the very back that is a nurse in Salinas, and we just we pretty much posted it on the internet, like Facebook, all the sites, and Craigslist. And then he hit us up, and so we got him, and we went through all his background and checked it all, and he was pretty squared away. And then we have another renter, which we've had 2, and the first guy didn't work out. He was an older man, and he was here all the time. He doesn't working or nothing, and he was just, it was kind of a bad renter. That one was kind of sucked. He was in a wheelchair, and like sometimes he wasn't. I don't know. He had a bunch of excuses. It was a headache, and then he would be up all night like moving furniture, and it's like, okay, we share a wall with him, so it was kind of a headache for us, and it was messing with our daily lives. And then we finally got a new renter back there after we got him out of there, and he's a lineman for PAR, and he just found us on Craigslist, and he's been solid since we got him. And finding him is honestly, you just got to go through the internet and list your property, and people start contacting you if they're interested, which is, it's not too bad. You just got to really sit down and talk to them and see how you fill them out,
Yeah. You get a lot of phone calls, a lot of nonsense, or is it mostly like people actually trying to rent?
It's more emails, like, oh, hit me up on email,
Okay.
and fill out this, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do and how many people are trying to stay at the property.
Yeah.
And mostly it's not me that like screens people. So my girlfriend, she lives with me, Johanna Gallo. She's a real estate agent. If you guys want to buy a house, hit her up. She's younger.
Gotcha.
She's killing it.
Okay.
And yeah, she wants to get into property management. So I was like, okay, well, we could do this together. And, if you want to do all the talking part, and then we could bounce back ideas, let's go. And so she helps out a lot. She does a lot. Most of the guest screening and all that, or the tenant screening.
So it wasn't all by yourself. You got a partner in crime. That's good.
Yeah.
Makes it a little easier.
Definitely. Yeah, it definitely does.
So Kyle, I'm just wondering, man, like, why do you think you picked up real estate so fast and so easy? Like, what inspired you as opposed to other people? Because I mean, like, I'm way older than you. I'm 27, and I'm barely starting to learn about real estate. I barely just read Rich Dad Poor Dad, but you seem to be very coachable, very open to ideas. Why is that? Who inspired you? Is it a family member? Was it a friend? Or where did you pick up that mindset?
I got you. I mean, I would say definitely like just reading, keeping your mind open to things for sure. And then I do have an uncle that he has his own business. He makes really good money. He has beautiful home and stuff. And when I started making money with where I'm working, I asked him, like, what's the best thing to do with it? Because I was putting my money into stocks in the stock market, and it was going up. But then you're gonna be pulling it out, and there's no tax deductions, nothing good that comes out of it besides, if you really kill it in there and you're like good in stocks, which I'm not. I don't have time for that.
Right.
And so I asked him what he thought was like his best investments to put money into, and he told me he's always been doing good with houses because inflation, it's like gold, right? People need water, food, and housing. And if you could provide one of those, you'll be all right. So that's kind of where my mind went to after he kind of described that to me.
So what are some tactics that everyday people like myself or Nick or Dylan could do to save up some money in order to buy a house? Because sometimes it gets hard. You want to buy some nice clothes, you want to go out for dinner, you want to go to a concert, whatever it may be. What are some rules or some things that you picked up in order to save that money in order to invest in your first home? Because that's got to be a challenge and very tough.
Yeah. I would say, you really just got to buckle down and get after it for a couple of years and just be be in control of your spendings, I'd say, because once you want something, but what do you want more? Do you want to be financially independent, or do you want that shirt that you're probably going to lose in like a month or so?
Right. Right.
And I don't know. To me,
I mean, it
it's kind
depends
of
on the
easy. It's kind of
shirt
easy to cut through the
sometimes, though,
bullshit.
right?
What was that?
It depends on the shirt sometimes, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I
So
think
if
that's
it's a
the problem
Hawaiian
that
shirt,
most
dude,
people
I'll keep
have.
that one.
There you go. So basically, you just were sacrificed. Were you working a lot? Like what? Were you working just 5 days a week, or were you working 6, 7 days a week? How long of days were you working at your day job? Because I heard you were grinding. That's what Ito told me.
You guys still there? Oh,
yeah.
You're still there.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello?
They're still there.
Oh.
We got you.
I think we might have lost connection.
Oh,
Can hear you.
Uh-oh. Oh, I see. He's wearing the gray
Hello?
sweatpants.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can't hear nothing.
You can't hear
No.
him? Restart it.
Turn the volume off and on.
Let me see. Different studio. Oh, where did Ito go? Damn.
I was going to text him.
Oh, you're texting me.
Yeah.
Man. Hopefully I could edit this. Kyle.
You still there?
Still there, Kyle?
Kale?
Kyle?
God damn it, Kale.
Well, I always said that Kyle fucking grinded it out. That he worked a lot. So I'm sure that's part of the process. You know, sometimes you got to sacrifice in a couple years.
Sacrifice your weekends for
a nice house.
Many months. You know,
But then you got to rip that shit out too, because he said he had. Oh, there's Kyle. Where are you at? There you go. Can you hear us, Kyle?
Yeah, I got you guys. Sorry, someone called me and messed it all up.
No, you're good. So you left off at just like buckling down, sacrificing, and I was asking how many like hours on average you would work, and like basically what it took.
So the career I'm in right now, dude, it offers like a buttload of overtime, and I do a lot, but there's some of the guys that I work with, and they just kill it also.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not a 40-hour work week, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, you get your overtime, you get your double time, you get paid really well, and it's worth it for sure if you're trying to save money.
Right.
So I'm fortunate to be in this trade and be able to save what I was able to and have been able to.
That's awesome. So like on average, what's your everyday look like? Like when you were trying to buy your first home, were you working 10, 11, 12 hours or more than that? Or what are we talking?
So we do 5/8, but there's emergency calls. Back then it was 5/8. Now it's 6/10s. But we do emergency calls. So you get called in the middle of the night and you'll come into work and you'll be working for another like 20 hours or something. And it happens, you know, at least 3 times a week where you get those calls.
Yeah.
And it's busy for sure.
Definitely. What helps you to keep going? Like when you get that call at 3:00 in the morning and you're like, dude, I just got home at 10. Like what motivation? Like, how do you get out of bed, dude? That's gotta be tough.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, the money, first of all, obviously.
There you go.
That's a big incentive, right? Because they pay you well. It's not your straight time; it's double time. So they'll pay you well just to come in for an emergency call out. And honestly, it's the line of the work. You know, you want to help people out. You want to get people's power on, and that's what we do.
Right.
And I don't know. I just feel like I try to be a people pleaser, even though it's hard to do that. But that's part of, you know, that's just part of the work.
It's good incentive and motivation.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, when you get paid well.
Yeah.
And when you have a meaningful career too, like you're saying, you know, you're helping put the lights on for people in emergency situations. You know, people got people got to cook, and you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we get some angry customers though. They're funny. Get some people yelling at us, "Get our lights back on!" Blah 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 blah.
You ever just flip them off at that point?
I'm not gonna tell you what I've done, but
Yeah, I'm sure, man. You're probably sitting up on that fucking tower, just unscrewing something, and you hear some bitch yelling at you to fucking get the lights back on. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
That's when you throw tools at her. Shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
Don't get him fired, Dylan.
Go
Don't make
back
him
in your
admit to
house.
something that he's done.
True.
No, we're
man.
good.
It's not that big of a deal. Most people would understand.
I mean, there's those types of
Understand.
people everywhere, right?
Definitely.
Hey, when you
Um,
plan to retire, Kyle? Real numbers. Like, when's the plan? I know you got some kind of plan in your head. What's the
Dude, I'm
number?
shooting for 30. Honestly, that'd be sweet.
30.
I would love to be. I'd love to be done in 5 years.
Wow.
I like
Good
that.
luck.
That
Good
work.
luck.
I mean, I'll stick around with real estate and all that stuff, but I'd love to be done with working stupid hours.
Lines and shit.
Yeah, working stupid hours. It's dangerous work, all that crap. So
Yeah.
I
Go
definitely-
shake some hands and make money that way.
So
how do you-
yeah, definitely shake some hands for sure. That'd be nice. Sign some contracts.
How do you plan on doing that? Because right now, I know we're talking about how you first got your first house, right? And you're telling us basically how that process went. You grinded it out, saved up money, didn't spend anything. Once you got it, you said you were renting it out to a nurse, right? Okay, so I know you own multiple houses. How many houses do you own now?
So I got two different parcels, right? So it's two different properties, but they have multiple houses on the property. So the one here in Hollister, I got 2 renters, and then I live in the front unit free.
Nice.
And then it's like the nicer unit too. We dialed it in because we remodeled the whole house when I bought it. And then the one in Pollock Pines, which is up by South Lake Tahoe, we have a long-term renter. And then in the other cabin, we created it into an Airbnb and literally just posted it Friday.
Awesome.
So
congratulations, by the way.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That's awesome.
So
And
those two are on that Pollock Pines. Those 2 properties or those 2 units are on that one parcel in Pollock Pines.
Yeah, 2 cabins.
So
one
then
of them, one of
you
them's
can
it's like a white big cabin, and then there's a smaller one that on Airbnb and it's like a cozier looking cabin.
Okay. Are there different regulations for doing the long-term lease versus the Airbnb on the same parcel?
Yeah, it's so the long-term rent, it doesn't matter at all. Like you can do whatever you want, but the short-term renting for Airbnb, you have to get a permit for all that, and you have to have like a fire inspection, and you have to, you're limited to how many people you could have at the property sleeping there and staying there. And then, there's a permits, and you have to stay up to date with all that every year.
Okay. Is there a limit on how many days you could be renting that out on Airbnb, like number of days per year, or could it be like every single day of the year?
Yeah, it could be every single day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, like,
guests.
what is the longest time someone could stay there? Because like, what determines long term versus that short term? Like, could somebody Airbnb it for 6 months, or?
I have on mine, I put a 30-day, so they could stay there for like a month if they wanted to.
Okay.
But then they'll have to leave, and then it's all depending on the lease that you're writing up. So you got long-term renters, they're going to sign for 6 months to a year. And then your short-term renter, you literally have it in for 2 days, and then he's gone, and you clean up the house, and you get another one in that same day.
Okay.
So you have to hire someone, right, to help you with the cleaning and everything?
Yeah, definitely.
How did you find that person? Did you just post up a job on Craigslist, or did you know someone in the area? And are you, like, I'm sure that it doesn't cost too much to have to pay them, right? So it's still pretty profitable. Like, I don't really know the whole entire Airbnb business, but I've been to them. I know that you have to keep the place clean after you leave. So as long as they don't trash the place, you should be good, right? I mean, give us the breakdown.
Yeah, so basically, we found the cleaner on. So I called the county, and then the county, I was talking to them, of what I had to do to get the permit and stuff.
Mhm.
And then I just asked them, oh, do you guys know of any, cleaning companies around? And then she actually gave me a lady's phone number. And so I called the lady.
Yeah.
And it was pretty funny voicemail. It went to, she was a mom of like 4 kids. And she's just like on her voicemail, if this is, if my home insurance is fine, my car insurance, don't be calling me about my car insurance, blah, blah, all this bullshit on her voicemail. So I was like, oh, this lady sounds interesting. So I left the voicemail, and then I texted her, and then I ended up getting a phone call back from her. And they came and met me at the property, and I kind of did the lowdown of what I want, cleaned and stuff like that. And so that was pretty much how I found him. It kind of fell into my hands, which was cool. And then what was the other question you said?
Like basically, how does that affect the profits? Does it, like, as opposed to what you're bringing in, is that like a large chunk that you have to pay her? Like, because it's every night that you have to pay, right?
So no, it's a one-time fee of $100 what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's billed to the customers, the guests who stay there.
Awesome.
So they pay $100 flat fee for, say they stay there 2 nights or stay there for like 5 nights.
Right.
So it's a flat fee of $100. And then if they're to stay there longer, where they need a house cleaner to come in and clean while they're staying there, say they're staying there for like 3 weeks or something, and they want, regular cleanups every 5 days or something.
Right.
Then my cleaner could go there and clean the house while they're there, and I'll be charging them another $100 pretty much every time they go to clean.
They get charged.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's awesome. So it's not even coming out of your pocket. That's coming out of the renter's pocket.
Yeah. And then you just let them know, and it's all on the website and on Airbnb. You can see it all.
Right on. So what do you think is a more profitable way to go about real estate? Do you think having renters in your house, or do you think Airbnb would be the better long-term play when you are invested into real estate?
I would say if you're looking to make money quicker, it would definitely be Airbnb, but you do have to put a lot more money into the property, and you have to, it's more attentive. So
Right.
you have to pretty much be dialed with all of it. And then the long-term renting is awesome because you're appreciating, right? Or you're depreciating, your house is depreciating, and you're having them pay your mortgage off. So in a couple of years from now, 5 years from now, I could go and take money out of my house and go buy another property if I want to, with the money that my renters have been paying me.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah. No. People need to hear that, because that's something that a lot of people have never even thought of, an equity loan.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Definitely. And I think what you're bringing up too, a lot of people are opposed to, like, buying a new house. The last thing you want to do is house hack and rent it to someone, especially new first-time home buyers. They have this stigma, like, I work my ass off. I'm going to get my own house. I'm going to have a big backyard. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to sit out in the backyard naked, drink my beer, Of course you want that. But at the same time, what sounds better, working your butt off to pay the mortgage, or having someone that's renting from you to pay the mortgage while you're still working, bringing in all that cash will help you invest in it and to another property, like you're saying, So I think this is great to have you on and to tell people about this, and to tell people about books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, to help them get some ideas like this in their brain. A lot of people don't think this way, especially myself. I mean, shoot, you're pointing out a lot of things that I have no idea about right now. Like, I want to just get a house and Airbnb it right now.
Yeah, honestly, dude, you're in the perfect shoes too, because you haven't bought a house, right, before?
Oh, no, first time.
So you could put 3.5% down, and then you would be able to, that's pretty cheap on like a $300,000 house, 3.5% down, your down payment, and then you go and you fix it up a little bit, and then you buy in a pretty nice area to where people want to visit, and then you just throw it on Airbnb, and you'll be freaking taking $100 nights from people. So that's pretty cool.
And something that me and some of like Dylan, Nick, I mean, we're kind of talking about maybe investing in somewhere out of state and doing an Airbnb. what do you think would be around like a number where we would have to save as a group, each of us, let's say what, like 10-20,000 we would need to save in order to invest in maybe like a $300,000 property or so?
Yeah, so you're gonna have to put at least 20% down if you're going out of state, because you're not. Yeah, it's more of a investment loan they're gonna give you. So it'd be anywhere from 20 to 25% down of a $300,000 house. So that's
60K.
about 60 to 80K, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So from each one of you, yeah, if you're doing, if you three, it'd be about 20 something, right around there.
Right. And
So
like,
what?
Go ahead, Nick.
When you were talking about the properties in Pollock Pines, the Airbnb makes sense, obviously, because Lake Tahoe's right there. So that's like an attraction that'll constantly bring people to the area that are going to rent out the Airbnb. And so I guess do you think the scouting process for, say, out of state would be wanting to find some sort of tourist attraction or like a major city, but like on the outskirts? Like, what do you have any like take on that?
I would say, yeah, definitely, like, national parks are awesome. Anywhere where people want to visit, right, and stay for a couple days. Cities are cool; they're more expensive. Yeah. But if you can make it work, for sure. It just depends what comes across your table and how you can make it work. And that you want to definitely take risks while you're young. So.
Yeah.
Where's next? Where's the next house you're buying?
I like where my cabin's out, so I'm thinking Placerville maybe.
Okay.
So
Okay.
You been fishing over there yet?
In my cabin, no.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. There's trout there, and I've been talking to a bunch of locals, and they say there's a bunch of water holes, and they're like, oh yeah, right up from where your place is a really good spot to fish for trout. And I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, I got to do that.
Yeah, there's great fishing right there.
Yeah.
I thought that's why you got the place, actually.
Snowboarding, fishing, the river. I don't know. It's just like, why not?
Fucking South Tahoe.
It's more of an investment,
Get
but
all
yeah.
fucked up, Uber back.
You could have some cool memories for sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I got to go visit that up there too. I want to go fish.
Definitely, dude. It'd be perfect for you and your kid and your lady.
Yeah, dude, definitely. And that's also why I wanted to have you on, because I have a son, and I'm sure a lot of people listening might have a family. And I think investing in the real estate is really important for people to do, especially if they're just going to be living in it with their family or rent it out, whatever it may be. You can get equity from investing into a property. So I know you are very smart when it comes to that. So what are you looking for when you buy a house? Like location? Is it just somewhere that you would want to live, or what are some guidelines that you try to follow when you invest into a new place?
Well, you're obviously always looking for a good deal, right? So you're trying to make a pretty good educated decision on if this is like, if a lot of people would want to be here, is it going to be worth more money in the future?
Right.
Equity, over time, will it raise, of course. And for Airbnb, it's location for sure. And does it look like, if you were on Airbnb, would you want to stay there, kind of stuff?
Right. I know Ito talks about this a lot. He's like, dude, if you want to buy a spot, get a place where you would want to live, or in a place where you think it's going to start booming in a couple years. And I know, like, what were you talking about? You're talking about Colorado, where you're at right now. You think that's going to be a good spot?
Yeah, I think this is a huge area. I think Idaho's a huge area. I think Montana is going to be a huge area. I pretty much think anywhere where there's a lot of wide open space still, it's all going to get filled up. So
right.
Yeah. A lot of it's still reasonably priced, and pretty soon it's going to be, jacked up 2 times what it is right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Years.
I agree with that, especially with the interest rates, dude, spiking up right now. So I think prices of homes are going to be coming down, but also with the inflation over the last year through the economy, it's like they said like 8% or something like that. That means your money, you're working for less than what you make. Like last year, you made more
Yeah,
compared to
but
this
see,
shit,
that's
you
the
know?
thing though, is
You're not
because you
making as
bought
much
those
money now.
properties, that 8% just goes into the house.
Right.
It's pretty much just another, 8% on the house.
Yeah, property flows with inflation, so
Yeah.
Mhm. That's why you want to invest in real estate, man. It's foolproof, basically. Everyone's gonna need a house, like you're saying. Everyone's gonna need food and water.
Yeah.
So why not put your money into it?
So
definitely.
how did you find that? I'm thinking about the place in Pollock Pines. So you said you bought the parcel with the 2 units on there. Like, did you find the units on a website, or did you find the parcel somewhere, or how did you hear about it? How'd you find it, and like, how'd you buy it? How'd you execute?
Yeah. Definitely. I'm always on Zillow, man, just looking at a Redfin, just looking at stuff, and I always wanted either a lake house, because back in the day we had a lake house. You remember?
Yeah, fucking
Never-
Tulloch was the greatest place on
Yeah.
earth, man.
My parents had a lake house that was awesome, and I just
I hit
you
you with
create
the
such
face
great
to
memories.
Nice.
It sounds like remember when you got Zach Moeller in the eyeball with the hook too?
Yeah, see, that wasn't as funny though, dude, because Zach almost lost his eye. Kyle just got fucking dosed by a fish, and the fish died. Right,
It died.
Yeah, that must have hit you really hard, Cal.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why something's wrong in here, but it's all right. Figure it out.
Eating a fish, huh?
All right. Well, anyways, back to what we're saying. Yeah. So I always wanted to I like places where you can create good memories, and I got some nieces and nephews, and I thought it'd be a great spot to have family come and create good memories for just like I have great memories of the lake house when I was younger, growing up, and I always, if I have an opportunity, might as well succeed and execute it. And so I did have the opportunity. I was always on Zillow and Redfin, and I'm always looking at properties, and I wanted to get something up by Tahoe. But then I heard about how they're not doing short-term rentals anymore in South Lake Tahoe, and they don't let permits off anymore. And so I started looking a little south of that and west of that, and then I saw this one, and I was like, oh, what the heck? Two cabins right on the river. And I just, I was like, what the frick? No way.
So they're listed together.
Huh?
They were listed together.
They were listed. Yeah, it's basically two cabins. Like it's like a regular house, and then like an
like an ADU.
Yeah, ADU in a way. Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Like a second house on the property,
Yeah.
and yeah. So I looked into it, and it was listed for $790. Or no, sorry, $825, and then the next week, I guess they lowered it to $800, and then I threw in a bid at $790, and they accepted it.
Nice.
And then we had to wait on our appraisal, and there was a fire up there, and the appraisal took forever, and so then I had to get another appraisal, and the appraisal came in at like 630, and one came in at 630, one came in at 655. And so after that it came in way lower than what they listed it, right? So they listed it at I got it under contract for $790, and the appraisal came back at $655. So I talked to the sellers, and I was like, you guys really want to sell? Like, I'm not going to come up with all that money cash, because that's what you have to do in that situation. They could pull back, the sellers could pull back and say, no, we're not going to sell this because we're not going to get what we want and what you signed up to pay. And if the bank's not going to loan to you on the appraisal, so they'll loan to you on that 655, right? But you have to come up with the difference all the way up to what you got it under contract for.
Oh shit.
And I said, yeah, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. That's
$100
and something K. I don't have that.
Yeah.
And so the sellers ended up saying, yeah, we kind of like worked out something, and the sellers wanted to get rid of the house because we've been on a contract for 60 days at this point, which is pretty long. Yeah. And we talked it over, and I was like, okay, well, I'll give you $40K over 6 months on top of what I can get a loan on. Yeah. And so I got a loan on the 655, well, I put my 20% down on property also.
Mhm.
And then I got a loan on the 655. And then on top of it, I paid him $40K cash to make it, because there was just no comps in the area. So that's pretty much why it didn't appraise at 790. So
Yeah.
that's why.
Well, yeah, that's a huge thing in the market right now. Anyways, it seems like nothing really appraises for what it actually sells for, just because it's so. I don't know what it is right now in the market, but pretty much anything that's listed is going to get bought for at least 50 grand over the top of what it's listed for.
Yeah, definitely. So, especially especially like here in the Bay Area, everywhere pretty much.
Yeah.
So I was surprised that the appraisal came in short, honestly.
Yeah, it could have just been because of the fires too. If it was like right during that time.
Yeah, but it worked out for my favor because I didn't have to pay as much money, honestly. So it pretty much gave me a deal.
True.
Yeah, the blessing in
deal.
Yeah. What are some other unforeseen problems or things that happened in the process of buying either of your homes? Was there anything like a long waiting time, or maybe you had to come up with extra cash that you didn't really think that you're gonna have to pay? Or
yeah, man, the closing costs will always sneak up on you for sure, because you'll be like, okay, I got my down payment money and that's gonna be plenty, right? And I got another 10K in the bank, and then the closing costs come in and they're like, oh, here you go, here's another. It's like 1% usually of what you bought it, or no, like 2% of what you bought the property for.
Wow.
And they'll sneak up on you. So you got to always keep in mind to ask your lender about the closing cost and ask your agent about the closing cost. Make sure, you're well informed about how much more you're going to have to pay.
Yeah. Okay.
What are those closing costs? Like, what are they even covering?
Like escrow fees, taxes, insurance, the lender, they make some money off the deal,
Okay.
The agents make some money.
Right.
So they're scraping a little off the top.
Yeah. They don't do services for free. I don't think I would either. So
no, me neither.
You got to wet the beak. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got to get some money. Right. Shoot, man. Well, I think this has been really great. Ito, I think you've been a little quiet though, man. I know you had a lot of questions to ask Kyle.
No, I mean, you guys were asking all the questions I wanted to answer, or wanted him to answer. So I was just kind of listening, just kind of learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of my questions were answered.
Yeah. Dude, Kyle's just full of knowledge, and he's very handsome. I could just listen to him talk all day, dude.
Hey, man, if you were a Niners fan, I'd think different about you.
Unfortunately, I'm a Raider fan. I'm addicted to losing. This year, I think it might be a little different, though. What do you think about this whole Debo drama? What do you think?
Shit, man. I think he's pulling the old Aaron Rodgers and trying to get paid.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like,
can't blame the guy, but I don't.
Kyler Murray.
Welcome.
Kyler Murray's gonna play now, right? For sure. He's saying he's gonna. No.
Dude.
Yeah, well, he's saying he's going to win Super Bowls, plural, in Arizona, so that's not true to begin with, and so we don't know if any of it's true. He might be fucking gone by the end of this fucking year.
Cody Cam has a season tickets, right? Yes, for this year.
Yeah, he had to be pissing himself when Kyler fucking took all the stuff off his Instagram. What do you guys think about that being like the new go-to thing to do? I think that's pretty
passive
aggressive. Fucking take all your shit down if you want to get paid more.
That's
well, fuck.
It seems to be working. It works.
But it's obviously doing the job for them. Damn.
Yeah.
What I think it does is that it gets the fans, like the fans notice, right? And the fans can put pressure on the situation. And so like the negotiation isn't just happening between the team and the owners and the agent.
Yeah.
The fans are writing death threats to people and like
that's why we have Trey Lance as a quarterback. It was because the fans' influence. I'm pretty positive about that, and that's really the whole root of this issue. Like, we wouldn't even be in a fucking talking about this if we didn't pick fucking Trey Lance. We'd still have draft picks, wide receiver heavy draft, and maybe not get someone that replaces Debo, but get a draft pick for Debo, maybe the 4 pick from the Jets. Take Sauce Gardner. That'd be nice. There's some good edge rushers. There's a lot of things we could have done if a couple more draft picks.
My issue with Lance is that we took him and we barely had seen what he's capable of. Like,
Well, yeah.
Okay, yeah, the short or the small pool of like throws and great plays that he had, like they're accentuated because he only had a few, right?
Yeah,
But if he
Nick,
would have had a bunch,
I've started about 70% of the games that Trey Lance has as a quarterback. So put that into perspective when you think about the Niners drafted him.
oh my god, should have drafted
No,
you.
yeah, my
Ito.
record wasn't as good, but
Yeah, he's
you know,
extremely
the
athletic. I
experience
don't know
wasn't
about you.
there.
Ito.
He is really athletic, but hey, can he play baseball though? Because Dylan Nito's a stud.
Oh, shit.
He played club
He
ball.
can't, and that's yeah.
You got him
He
beat
shreds
there.
and are like Dylan
He's
Nito.
not
I
a
don't
good.
know.
Yeah, he won't pan out.
Boogie boarding,
Bad
dude.
choice.
All right. Well, also we got the Warriors. They just lost right now. That kind of sucks. But who do you think's gonna win the finals this year, Kyle? Who do you got going all the way?
I think it's gonna end up being the Suns, dude.
The Suns. Ooh.
Get out of here.
I think the
I want
Bucks.
the Warriors to win though.
Yeah, I want the
It'll be
Warriors.
Suns, Warriors in the conference championship, and then it's going to be Warriors and I think Celtics in the finals. That's what I'm thinking.
Celtics, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Celtics
I
are
can
looking
see that.
good.
They're pretty
Yeah,
good.
they are
And,
looking really good.
and what about Luca? The Mavs, they're pretty freaking good.
Yeah, Luka.
Yeah.
I like Luca.
Well,
I can see them. I can see them
between
doing-
the Mavs and the Jazz, right? To see who's going to move on to the next round. I
Yeah.
think it's tied up. When do they play next?
I think they play tomorrow, Monday.
It's going to be a close series. I think that goes to 7. I bet you that goes to
Shit.
7 games.
I hope so, man. It's a good series. The best series though is the Grizzlies and the
Wolves, Timberwolves.
great
Oh
series.
yeah.
Yeah, super
Ja
entertaining.
Morant's fun. He's fun to watch, dude.
Dude, super.
Yeah.
That guy's a super athlete.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Hey, you
On the
sports
wall.
bet at all, Kyle?
No, I try to stay away from that, dude.
Dude,
I usually don't win. I only win when I play roulette at the tables, you know.
There we go. That's your
Attaboy.
game of choice.
hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I have an
I
addictive
can't
personality.
Yeah.
I would not do well sports betting. I'd be like, the one win erases my 20 losses. I'm like, I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm so good.
Back in it.
No.
Yeah, well, as long as you bet more on that one win,
If
hit the buck,
the
you're good to
profits,
go.
the gains
Every
are more
time
than the
you lose,
losses.
you just gotta bet more, and that's a foolproof plan.
I mean, that's
Jeez.
my plan. I'm trying to sports gamble till I can buy a house.
There you go.
What do you
Hell
think of that, Kyle? You think that'll be successful?
I hope it is. I hope you can buy multiple with that sports betting.
No shit.
I hope you can. More power to you.
But
Seriously.
All
I
right,
wouldn't
fellas.
bet on it. But
All right, fellas. Well, we did a 43-minute podcast. I think that was very successful. I think we informed a lot of morons out there. And Kyle, I just want to thank you for blessing us with your time, man. We really learned a lot from you. And I think a lot of people are going to be learning a lot from you from this podcast.
yeah,
Honestly.
man, thanks for having me on. It was fun
Of course.
talking to you guys.
Yeah, dude.
Talking to
Yeah,
you guys
dude.
from a long time ago.
Hey, you going
So-
to Montana?
For the draft, hell yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
planning
go.
on it.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah,
We
it's gonna
got
be
it.
fun.
We got a fantasy football draft in Montana this summer, and dude, I think we gotta have it like live streamed or something. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Should.
Yeah.
We'd love to watch that.
That would be
the
pretty
draft party.
freaking insane, dude.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good time.
Well,
You guys-
thanks, Kyle. I am definitely more of an informed moron now. So thank you.
Definitely.
Oh, are we still going? I thought it was I thought we cut out already. I thought we were just having a conversation.
No. Well, now it is. All right, people. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Yep.